What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello. What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Getting a little bit of an early start. About 3 minutes left. What's going on, Obadiah Farley? We're getting ready to... Yeah, Jamie Ledger says there's an upset going on in Pierce County. I was following that game a little bit earlier. So is Crisp County still winning that? And I got to be honest with you. I really thought Crisp had a chance in that game, and I'm not just saying that. I was thinking about that today. I thought, they've been knocking on the door, Jamie. They've been getting close, talking about Crisp. And Coach Justin Newman, what a great job he's done. And thank you, Obadiah. I appreciate that, buddy. So 28-16, Crisp, indeed, looks like they're going to upset Pierce County because that game's got to be getting late in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. That thing was going back and forth. I know that Crisp led 21-16. And, excuse me, did I say clinch? No, it's Crisp County. That is going to be huge for Justin Newman and that Crisp County Cougar football team, because that's a region win, and they're still very much in the hunt in the region play. So that's going to be big time. So, guys, welcome in to the Friday Night Scoreboard Show. We're going to be with you until midnight tonight here at ITG Next, and obviously want to hear from you. I heard GPP Sports and ITG will be at Thomas County Central next Friday for TCC versus HOCO. I wish we could be there, man. I tell you, we were there last year for the last game of the year between TCC and Coffee, a game that TCC won pretty easily. So Chandler Howell tells us that Fitzgerald's up on Berrien 42-7. That game was kind of close there for a little bit. Swainsboro, what's up, Tim Thompson? Obadiah Farley says, I'm joking. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. GPB needs to come down and do the game, though, Obadiah. I'm telling you. Speaking of GPB, I know their game of the week tonight was Harrison and McEachern. Does anybody have a final on that one? I know I was just watching it before I went live. I know McEachern was leading that game 28-14. Now, I had predicted Jody Hewitt. What's up, Jody? You Lowndes fans are Lowndes County off tonight. So come on in, man. Let's talk some football. We're going to be with you until midnight tonight. How about them Vikings? Absolutely. Guys, check out the story that I just wrote. In fact, I wrote this yesterday. It's up on ITG Next on our website, where I talk about who is going to challenge for the 6A crown. And I think Lowndes has got a great chance. Obviously, they are the number one ranked team in terms of that postseason ranking formula. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything this year necessarily, except it does give you an idea of, I think, how strong the teams are, which is why which is the whole intention for this thing. But take a look at the story, guys, at ITG Next. I think you'll like it. It was a pretty extensive story that I wrote where I talk about who's going to challenge for the 6A state championship. And, guys, how about this? And I also wrote a separate story about this. And I'm going to get to all your comments here in just a minute. Did you guys know that if the PSR, that new power or postseason ranking formula, was in place now, which is not, but if it was, every Region 1 6A team would be making the playoffs. Tiff County would make it. Camden County would make it. Camden County is ranked 10th in the state in this PSR ranking. Now, I'm not talking about the rankings that we do along with HAC, the composite rankings. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the power ranking. That, again, doesn't mean a hill of beans this year except for conversation like this. But, man, it's fun to look at how they seem. Camden County, and that comes from their strength of schedule. Lowndes is number one, but every Region 1 6A team, guys, would be making the postseason this year if that new GHSA sanctioned PSR formula, which goes into effect next year, but if it was in effect this year, every Region 1 6A team would make the playoffs. Can you believe that? Thanks, Jody. I appreciate that, buddy. I really do, man. Makes it all worthwhile. Thanks, Jody. I really do appreciate that, buddy. Thank you for the compliment. And look, of course, I started with Lowndes in that story. I think that, you know, and Jody, just to be fair, and Jody, you can answer me on this, buddy. And again, I don't want anybody to take offense to it. I don't want Lowndes fans to take offense. I'm just asking. You know, there's a really good chance if Lowndes wins the region, there's a good chance that they're going to face Buford again. Or what's the difference between this year and last year? And again, I'm just asking, because I think Lowndes is a much better team than they were last year. I think they've come a long way. You know, that game that they won in the driving rainstorm over at Camden. I mean, you know, those are the kind of games you go and you win. So just kind of curious, guys. Does anybody have an update? And we'll get back to that in a minute. But does anybody have an update on the? Anybody have an update on that Hillgrove McEachern game? That's huge up there in that region. That game being played in front of a packed house up there at Hillgrove. Hillgrove has the number one defense in the state. By the way, Lowndes has got the number one defense in Class 6A. I think that's right. Points against. I believe that's right, isn't it, Jody? Ware County 21, Perry 14. Is that a final, Larrick Baker? Is that final? Andrew Watkins tells us Westover's beating Monroe 34-14. Or that's in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. Toombs County over Savannah Country Day 42-7. No surprise there. Nancy Sullivan Burrell. What's up, Nancy? Philip Jacob Williams, how did Coffee and Hoco end? I know that game was pretty close for a while. The last score I had on that was Hoco by 10, 31-21 in the fourth quarter. Can somebody give me an update? I'm looking for updates on Houston County and Coffee County. I'm looking for updates on McEachern, Hillgrove. By the way, so I predicted McEachern to win this thing 33-21. They were up 28-14. Somebody said, yeah, Cairo blowed out Doherty on their homecoming. That was last night, wasn't it, Tina? Melissa Owens. Thank you, Tina. But anyway, I predicted McEachern was going to win 33-21. Now, the last time I checked, they were up. They had 28. But anyway, somebody told me, you're silly if you think McEachern's going to score 33 on that defense. You know, Hillgrove has shut out like everybody. I mean, everybody. I think they've shut out like 7 teams, or six or seven of their games, their wins have been by shutout. So somebody said, you're crazy. Well, not so fast. Maybe I'm not so crazy. Now, I had them scoring 33. They had 28. Now, I don't know what, but somebody give me a final. Justin Burt. What's up, Justin? Long time no see, my friend. Hoco has defeated Coffee 45-21. Oh, my goodness. I had predicted 40-21. That was my pick 6 score. I predicted Houston County would win that one tonight 40-21. Justin Burt tells me they win it 45-21. Pretty close. Guys, I've been tearing up this pick 6 lately, and that's not usually my strength, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I can pick a team to win, but it's hard to get the scores right. But I've been doing it pretty good these last few weeks. I don't know, man. I'll take it. Look, I'm not an ego guy, man, at all. It's good to be humble, man. Got to be humble in this life. All right. You go, dogs. Go Dogs is taking up for us with the Streamlabs. All right, Jody. Team is a lot better. I was asking, what's the difference between Lowndes this year and last year? Lowndes could be very well facing Buford in the state finals, or in the state playoffs at some point. And I think they could meet up in the final. There's a lot of different scenarios, but I asked Jody, big Lowndes fan, what's the difference between the Lowndes team this year versus last year, the team that went to Buford and got beat, I think, 42-7? Jody says, team is a lot better. They gelled this year. Really young, but there is a camaraderie I haven't seen in a Lounge team in years. When you have so many weapons and everyone is excited, no matter who gets the ball, that's special, and I expect the Vikings to only get better as we move forward. It's a great answer, Jody. And I'm with you, man. I think Juice is one of the best quarterbacks. He seems to be mature, and I know he missed a lot of times or missed a lot of time early in the season. So having him back and getting him some reps and some momentum and that's good. So go Dogs. You're my hero, man. I love it. I love it. Lyric Baker tells us, boy, TCC with a squeaker tonight. Listen, look, TCC has not played anybody. I know I'm not being mean. I still think they may have the best team in 5A. I mean, they are strong. So don't think I'm throwing shade at TCC. But come on, they haven't played anybody. They just whipping everybody. I mean, 70-0. Come on. But things are about to get very tough for TCC. Tougher. I guess they'll play Coffee and Hoko next couple of weeks. Appling County defeats Tatnall 49-7. I tell you, James Clements, thank you for that. Tucker's got Appling County back playing Appling County football, it looks like. He's got that team playing well. Now, they struggled earlier in the season, but they're playing well. Go Dog 65. Read my first one, Phil. I think I did. I think that's what I was laughing at. I'll go back up and check it out, buddy. I appreciate that, man. I get that message from Streamlabs every week. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what it is. I mean, we're not doing anything wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. Hope you guys are enjoying our Friday night soiree that we do. Every Friday night, 10 to midnight. We have a lot of fun, man. I try to read every single comment. If I miss a comment, come on back to me, man. We'll catch you up. Heather Knight Rodriguez, that was a region win, 70-0. Must play game. Yeah, you're right. It was a region game. You got to. You're right. It was a region game, so you had no choice about that one. I get you. No, and I wasn't saying that they scheduled that game. And Cook versus Appling next Friday. Cook's off tonight. Yep, you're right about that. Indeed, they are for sure. Heather Knight Rodriguez says starters were pulled. Oh, yeah, I know they were. And listen, I pretty much expected that to happen. So, yeah, it's just this region 2-5A, Northside is down, Veterans is down, Coffee is down a little bit this year. They gave Hoko a pretty good game tonight. But to be honest, and Lee County's down a little bit. But to be honest with you, this is going to be a two-team race. Thomas County, it's going to come down to Thomas County Central and Hoko. That's what this region is. And it's kind of a shame, to be honest with you, because, when this region was first announced, I mean, you had Northside Warner Robins, the great Northside Warner Robins, and don't laugh. That team has been a powerhouse for decades. And the talent has shifted in Houston County. And it used to be Northside Warner Robins, and Warner Robins dominated. Now it's Perry, it's Houston County, obviously. So anyway, it's just kind of a strange dynamic that's going on. And when they first announced Region 2-5A, I kind of got excited about all that talent. Well, like I said, Lee County's down a little bit. Coffee's young, so they're down, but Mike will have them back. But right now, it's Thomas County Central and Hoko in Region 2-5A for sure. Bernard Benjamin, enjoying the show, first time listening. Welcome in, brother. And thank you for the compliment, man. We do this every Friday night. Let's see. James Clements. Okay, we talked about Appling County. Okay, Streamlabs, and I need to be added as a moderator in order to remove messages. Perform the setting you can do by clicking on the dots to the right on it. Okay, I'll do that for sure. We don't want to get kicked off or anything. Jody Hewitt, missing some football with the bye week. Excited to see our South Georgia teams get a great opportunity with the new power rankings next season. Interested to hear what GHSA decides on the Florida teams for the rankings. Tough to get North Georgia teams to South Georgia and vice versa. Yeah, so this whole power rankings deal is going to be pretty special. And again, I like it. A lot of people are talking about how they don't really care for it. I like it, man. I mean, again, like I've been talking about, every Region 1-6A team would make the playoffs if this system was in play now. Now, I know I'm beating that to death, but the thing about that, I don't know if you guys remember back in 2018, they had something similar to what they're going to do next year. In 2018, they had, I think they gave teams that did not qualify for the playoffs as a top 4 team in the region, they awarded teams playoff berths via an at-large bid. Do y'all remember that? And the reason I remember that, Tift County got one of those at-large bids because they didn't qualify as one of the top 4 teams in region. Then it was 1-7A. Well, Tift County gets this at-large bid, and lo and behold, they go to Roswell, who was the number 1 seed, and they beat the tar out of Roswell 42-7. In fact, they made it to the quarterfinals where they lost to Archer in overtime. I remember that like it was yesterday. So the point being that, look, if you you got to make the playoffs, and I know some people say, well, look, like if Tift County this year didn't make if they made the playoffs, it wouldn't have mattered. Well, you know what? You don't know that. And 2018 is a perfect example of that. Ashley Anders, who is now up at Veterans as the co-defensive coordinator, he was the Tift County head football coach then. So, all right, Larry Baker says, McEachern's still up. Thank you, Gabe Garrett, for that. McEachern's up 35-14. I predicted 33-21 in that game. Somebody give me an update or when that comes to an end. I know I was watching it just before I went live, and that game was getting late in the fourth quarter. So all right, Larry Baker says Crisp 14, Pierce 10 in the third. I think that's been updated, Larry. I think Jamie Ledger gave us an update earlier that said Crisp was up like 28-16, I believe. Juancimo Villalobos has joined us. Gainesville 55-0 over Chattahoochee. Roswell versus Gainesville at Beautiful City Park for the region championship next week. Go Big Red. Absolutely, guys. There's going to be some major games next week. A lot of teams are off this week, but you're right. So Hillgrove did lose 35-14. How about that? So I predicted McEachern to win 33-21, and I got to be honest with you, somebody who will remain nameless, told me I was crazy if I thought McEachern was going to score 33 points, which I predicted them to score 33. Well, they actually scored 35. So, Worth County Region Championship next week. Cameron Harris, thank you for that, Cameron, and thank you for the Hillgrove final. So, I should know this because obviously we host the Worth County Coaches Show. By the way, for those of you that are new to the show, listen, we host yours truly hosts 6 coaches shows every week. And this coming week, I'll host the Worth County Coaches Show. We do this every week. Worth County Coaches Show. The McEachern Coaches Show. The Colquitt County Coaches Show. We'll host the Tift County Coaches Show. Roswell Coaches Show. Who am I missing? I should know these. Houston County. I mentioned Houston County. So, good thing is, man, we got a lot of these coaches shows. All these coaches shows except for Tift. All these teams are looking like making a serious run through the state playoffs. Jody Hewitt says, sounds like TCC rolled right through that revenge. Game. Now, what do you mean by that? Now, what was the deal on that? I'm lost on that one, Jody. Sound like TCC rolled right through that revenge, game. So I'm lost on that. You got to fill me in, man. Was there some kind of deal with them and Northside Warner Robins? Help me out there. Marquette Reddick, TCC coach. You don't never interview him. Well, we would love to do the coaches show with him. In fact, really, I don't interview a whole lot of coaches. Although we did go to Thomas County Central and did a whole documentary on the football team. And anyway, it's about a year old. So we have been down there, but anyway, we try to get around to all the coaches for sure. Larry Baker, with bye weeks for multiple teams, most games statewide, has been runaways like pregame Oklahoma Sooner wagon. I love it. That's a good one. Walter Thomas, Lowndes had a lot better defense this year, especially against the run. Gotcha. Fair. Good, fair. Calvin Jones, you are not talking about Valdosta Wildcats. I know we are off this week. Well, listen, just because they're off doesn't mean I'm not talking about them. By the way, one of their guys was one of my top 10 performers from last week. Gosh, I'm trying to remember his name. Is it Thompson? He had a big-time game last week. And listen, we'll talk about Valdosta, Calvin. Let's talk about Region 1-6A. This thing is wide open. You got Lowndes at 3-0 in the region. Again, everybody's off in Region 1-6A. You got Lowndes at 3-0 in the region, and then you've got a logjam with three teams at 2-1, 2-1. Colquitt, Valdosta, Richmond Hill, all at 2-1, and then Tift and Camden 0-3. Really, everybody is still alive for a playoff berth, if I'm not mistaken. How about Camden County? 0-3. In the region, 5-3 overall, and their power ranking is 10. Which means if the playoffs were to start today under the 2026 formula, and I know I keep going back to this, I can't get over that. I'm just amazed. Camden County would get like a first round home game. It's just amazing to me. Listen, here's the lesson. And this kind of goes to the scheduling, okay, and why teams better ante up some tougher schedules. Because this is what the formula dictates, okay? Your strength of schedule, okay, meaning how strong your opponents are, and how strong your opponents are. I know I need a flip chart here. So, if you're playing against a team, it's not only going to dictate how strong they are, but how strong their opponents are. You see what I'm saying? So that's part of that whole new formula, and I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Walter Thomas, Hillgrove has played very weak teams. They are not very good. And Jody, I'm coming back to your comment. I'm coming back to everybody's comments, by the way, guys. Don't worry, I'll go back and catch up. That's why I thought McEachern was going to win. I thought they were going to win handily. My buddy Rosser Sutherland was the one that said, man, you're crazy for thinking McEachern's going to score 33. I picked McEachern to win that one 33-21. They win, 35-14, I think. And I kind of thought the same thing. It's just, Hillgrove had shut out everybody except for one or two opponents. Not tonight. And again, we're going to talk to McEachern's head football coach this week, Kareem Reed, on the McEachern Coaches Show. It's one of the 6 that yours truly hosts. I hope you guys will start checking those shows out. A lot of fun. But good, that's a good catch there, Walter Thomas. James Randall, what's up, James? Camden County's one of the biggest fans. You and Jamie Fraley Seeger, I kind of give you all the co-captains as top Camden fan. Hopefully we'll get away from all teams being 5-0, teams going into region play. We'll have to start challenging yourselves. James, you're right, but how about Camden, man, getting that number 10 ranking so far? And again, don't mean a hill of beans this year. But I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was very cool. Coffee 21, Houston 38. Thank you, Chris Burton. Is that going final? I predicted that, by the way, in one of my pick 6 games, I predicted Houston County to win that game 40-21. So if it's 38-21, I'm pretty close. Pretty close. I like that. Guys, How many of y'all remember Ashley Henderson or know Ashley Henderson? Ashley won did really good at Valwood, won the state championships, and led them to the state title games. And he goes to Thomas County Central, and he inherits a mess. Okay, and he starts to get things cleaned up, and he didn't win enough games, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. But he really cleaned that program up nicely. I remember him telling me it's going to take us 5 years to win a state championship. They gave him 4. Anyway, just saying. I think the guy's got a bad rap. Well, you know what? He's now gone up to woeful, one of the worst football programs in the state, up in Monticello in Jasper County. And look at what Ashley Henderson has done. He's turned around the Hurricanes program. They had not hosted a home playoff game in like 30 years. Well, they'll be hosting. I think they hosted one last year. They'll be doing more than that this year, because they, I believe, have won tonight over Social Circle. They were leading by a bunch last time I checked. But for those of you that know Ashley Henderson, the guy got a bad rap by the Thomas County Central folks. And look, again, he'll be the last one. I'm not making any excuses here. Okay, he didn't win enough games. He inherited a mess when he got there. I think most people need to acknowledge that. But again, you got to win games, and he didn't get it done. He'll be the first one to tell you that. But he was able to go up to Jasper County, where he inherited yet another train wreck of a football team. And he has turned it around. I think he's been there 3-4 years. And lo and behold, they were undefeated going into tonight's game. That community, that town, that county is excited once again. Congratulations to Ashley Henderson. Great guy, and he's a great football coach. I just wanted to point that out, because, guys really got a bad rap. Simo Villalobos. Love the Friday night scoreboard show, Phil. Appreciate your insight and commentary. Simo, man, you are a regular on here, brother, and I appreciate you. I really do. Thank y'all for all the great, the kind comments. I really do appreciate that. Lyric Baker. I've been getting onto my home school, Ware County, about scheduling way before this new playoff format. They need to throw Lowndes and Valdosta back on their schedule. That's what we need to see. Those are the games we need to see. We need to see like Thomas County Central and Lowndes. We need to see Thomas County Central and Valdosta. We need to see Thomasville and Valdosta. We need to get some of these rivalries back in, and not just in the southern part of the state, but everywhere. So I'm with you 100%, Larry Baker. J.E. Woods, good evening, Phil. Mill Creek over Discovery, 51-7. Have an off week, then a huge test at Buford, Halloween for the region. Now, Jody Hewitt, Ashley is a great guy, worked at Valdosta with him. How about that, Jody? I did not know that. He is a great man. And I'm not talking about just a football. He's a good football coach. He's proven that. Proved it at Valwood. Didn't get it done at Thomas County Central. But he's taken over a mess at Jasper County. And again, if somebody can confirm that final, I think it was 35-7. Jasper County over Social Circle. I don't know. Again, I went to score streams. Sometimes you got to be careful, because sometimes those scores will be dead wrong. They won't even be close. Anyway, Cameron Harris, great get. Cameron Harris, great comment. Worth County and Tift need to start playing again. Absolutely, 100%. I saw some great games, season opening games between those two programs, Tift and Cook. Tift and Irwin played for a little while. James Raymer. What's up, James? Cripps County beats Pierce County 28-16. Guys, I know Obadiah Farley normally asks me what is the upset of the night. What's my pick for upset of the night? Right now, Obadiah, if you're still in the house here, it's definitely my upset of the night is going to be Cripps County beating Pierce County 28-16. However, and I promise you guys, I was thinking about this game, and I thought, you know what? Justin Newman, first-year head coach at Crisp, he's really had those guys playing well. They've been getting closer and closer, and they've been competitive in their games. And I just thought that, you know what, but I didn't predict it. So I don't want to act like I'm, hindsight's 20/20. But I thought about this today. I thought, you know what, it would not surprise me if Crisp wins that game. And I'll tell you what, because Crisp has been playing better, and I don't think Pierce is as good as they have been. So, again, that's a great win for Justin Newman. I know he's been knocking on the door. I've been up there and talked to him a couple of times. He's a great guy, and I'm proud for him. So, Justin Newman, Crisp, great win tonight for sure. All right. Let's see if I can get these comments. I want to make sure I go back and catch some of y'all's comments because I don't want to miss anybody. Okay. I think I missed somebody. Jody Hewitt, I want to catch here. Wintersville is shaping up to be the biggest game in the Southeast again this year. How special for Lowndes and Valdosta. Absolutely, brother. Halloween night. Now, Jody, are you concerned at all, though, about Lowndes going to Richmond Hill next week? Listen, I don't care what happened with Richmond Hill and Valdosta, Jody. You got to be careful, man. Matt Lozada has got Richmond Hill playing good football. I was surprised they got beat like they did by Valdosta. Not that they lost, but the way they lost. So listen, guys, this Region 1-6A, I think, is still wide open. Lowndes, Colquitt, Valdosta, Richmond Hill, I think they're all still in it. So we'll see. We'll see. Cameron Harris, I think Northside's new head coach when he was at Langston Hughes had beat TCC last year, and TCC beat Boone this year. Okay, I got you. Well, you know what? See, and I can't believe anybody's making a big deal out of that. Two different animals completely, and by that I mean, two different completely situations is what I'm trying to say. No, like tomato, oranges and apples. You guys understand what I'm saying. Langston Hughes is a state championship caliber program. He's taken over a Northside program that is beaten down, and he's trying to build it back up. This is his first year. So I just, you can't really, I wouldn't throw revenge into that at all. Not at all. That means zero. Different team, different situation. I can't even believe anybody's talking about that, to be honest with you. All right, Lyric Baker said that with bye weeks from multiple teams, most games statewide has been runaways. Okay, I'm sorry. I did read that earlier. My bad, buddy. J.E. Woods. Okay, I'm sorry. I read that one too. Just trying to get caught up on everybody. So Jasper County, thank you, James Raymer. So Jasper County did beat Social Circle 42-7. Congratulations, Ashley Henderson. Big, big, big win. And last year, I think Social Circle had beaten Jasper County. What a great job Ashley Henderson is doing. I love the guy. I love what he's doing at Jasper County. Every dog has his day. It's been a while coming for Ashley, but it's good to see him having his day. I love it. I like that. Jody Hewitt, Phil, as long as it's not raining with a 20-mile-per-hour wind, I like our chances. Our offense has enough weapons that I don't see anyone shutting us down. Our defense is beyond fast. Based on what I've seen Richmond Hill film, I like our chances. I got you, and I think Lowndes will be favored for sure. Now, Jody's pretty interesting. So, Lowndes played their first 7 games at the Concrete Palace, one of the best home field advantages of the year anywhere in the state. And now, I like the challenge that they've got playing these last 3 games on the road. Of course, they started last week at Camden. They'll play the game next week at Richmond Hill. And then, that last game is technically, it's across town at Valdosta, right? I think that's right. Yeah, at Valdosta. That's still a road game. It's not at their home stadium. But, boy, that is going to be one of the best Wintersville Classics, Jody, that we will have had in a long time. And they've been good these last few years. I went to one 3 years ago, I think it was at Lowndes, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I've been to a lot of football games. Jerry White Bradley. Phil, there was more to that story with TCC and Coach Boone. Okay. He and their coaches were on the sideline shooting basketball motions. And before anyone says anything, there were videos of it happening before the game was over. So why were they doing why were they shooting basketball motions? Was it like get ready for basketball? Okay, I got you. I'm with you. I'm a little slow. Gotcha. Thank you for that, Jerry White Bradley. Walter Johnson, I'm watching and listening from Albany, Georgia. Westover Downs Monroe 42-21 to move to 3-1 in Region 1-3A with Darty coming up at Hugh Mills Stadium next week. Boy, Walter, thanks so much for checking out the show, man. I miss, and we're talking about getting back some of these old rivalries. Walter, I'm not sure how old you are, but I can remember going and watching Tift at Hugh Mills Stadium on those Saturday night games. Tift would go over there and play Darty or Monroe, and those were some of the best, most memorable games. Hugh Mills Stadium is a stadium with a lot of character. If you guys have never been to Hugh Mills Stadium in Albany, you need to do yourself a favor and go. It's kind of a bowl, and it's like it's a bowl of the stadium is like the walls are flint rock. I believe that's what it is, or granite or something. It's a very unique stadium, though. Very unique. The home side, or at least the visitor side, used to be covered. The home side was not. And so they had this huge canopy over the visitor side. But, man, Tifton used to have some great games. And the reason I mentioned Tifton, I grew up in Tifton. So there we go. So that explains the whole Thomas County Central, Langston Hughes rivalry thing. I got you. Makes sense. Cameron Harris says, I hated playing there during winter because of the wind. Really? So that was pretty bad? I got you. Jody Hewitt, I really like that we have these two long away games back to back. I think this will have us ready for playoffs if we have to travel. That's a great point. It's a great point, Jody. And listen, if you guys, and again, and by the way, Stephen K. Wynn, I got you Lee County 48-3. So Region 1, 6A, excuse me, is going to have region, the Buford region is what I call it. Buford, Mill Creek, Collins Hill, and probably Seconder. Am I right about that? I don't know. Whoever. So whoever the 4 seed is out of Region 1 6A is going to have Buford. So that's why it's so important in this Region 1 6A race to get that number 1 seed. Because if you get the number 1 seed in Region 1 6A, you're going to play Region 1 or Region 8 6A, the Buford region. You're going to play their weakest team, which just about any Region 1 6A team would be favored over that region's number 4 team. And you get a pretty good draw. And believe me, the last couple of days I've done nothing but look at all these brackets and this and that, and what if this happens and what if that happens. By the way, check out my story. There's a couple of stories I've got at ITG Next on our website. You guys, and you can check it out on our Facebook page as well, where I actually put together some potential matchups that could likely happen in the 6A and the 5A bracket. And I'm going to continue to do these for all the other classifications. But, guys, there are some pretty interesting matchups. And I'll know a lot more probably after next week. Because, again, anything can happen. I'm just being very speculative right now. But, I mean, you're looking at you're looking at a possibility of a TCC Milton semifinal game. Lyric Baker, let's see here. Lyric Baker, Region 1 6A is always good through the first 2 rounds, usually at home until they have to go up north into that North Georgia frozen tundra. You're right. That's what's happened. That's what happened to Lowndes last year. Now, again, that's why I was asking Jody if he thought that Lowndes was better, what was different this year, because Lowndes could very well, there's a very good chance that they're going to be playing Buford again. Matthew Dunn, when does Northside get back? Decent-sized communities in that county, but Northside can't seem to get the players. That's a very, very good question, Matthew. You know, again, Northside was the king of that county for decades. I mean, I think they may have like a state record for the number of playoffs, and I mean they the number of 10-win seasons. Guys, I'm talking about decades. They dominated, and now they're just they're unrecognizable. Again, I think it's just cyclical. Houston County used to be the whipping boy of that county. Perry was nowhere. I mean, Perry was a nothing. And look at Perry. Won a state, 2 years removed from a state championship, and now, I don't know how, did they lose tonight against where? But Matthew, that's a great question. Jody Hewitt, yes, Region 8, we would likely match up with Buford in Week 3, then hope the coin toss goes our way. How about that revenge of beating Buford on Joe Wilson Field? Oh, man, that would be something else, buddy. Now, there's your revenge game, Jody. That would be something else. And I got to be honest with you, I think that makes all the difference in the world, Jody. Having Buford travel and come down here and play at a place like the Concrete Palace, they will not know what hit them. I believe that. And listen, I think Buford is strong. They are really, really good, man. Really good. But that's your great equalizer, Jody. You got to get them down here. Got to. Because going up there, man, you're just going into a snake pit. Matthew Dunn, that's what I was thinking. Yep. They just, again, man, I think things are going to have to cycle back out. Right now, up there in middle Georgia, it's Houston County's turn. It's Perry's turn. Look at what Warner Robins got beat by Wayne County a couple of weeks ago. That would have never. Remember, Maurice Westbrook. He took Warner Robins, and that was not that long ago. Maurice Westbrook took Warner Robins to I don't know, like 4 state title games in 5 years or something. It may have been more than that. Now, they didn't win them all. They won 2 or 3, and now Warner Robins is just, and I love Shane Sams, their head coach. Great guy. But I don't think it has anything to do with coaching. I just think it's the like I said, the cycle has changed. The teams that were dominant, Northside and Warner Robins, are now bad. And the teams that were bad, Perry, Hoco, they're all of a sudden very good. And then you got Veterans, which is, Veterans is still the newest school up there. And so, they're kind of just stuck in limbo. I think they were pretty good when they first started off. I mean, they made the playoffs, and but now obviously. But listen, I tell you that they're going to be better. They got a great coaching staff. I know they had the Lowndes, former Ashley Anders is up there. The former Colquitt County defensive coordinator is up there. Steve Dvorsky is the head coach, so they will get better. They will be better. So Ware does beat Perry tonight, 21-14. Matthew Dunn says Perry beat us with Casey Hayward. Yep, sure did. Heather Knight Rodriguez, no, it will be Gainesville now that they beat Milton. If they finish first and we finish first in the region, we will play Gainesville, I believe. Okay. But Roswell is still alive, aren't they? I still think there's a lot up in the air, Heather Knight Rodriguez. And there's a couple of different, and again, I put this in the story, there's a couple of different possible scenarios that could happen. So I do think Thomas County Central, Milton is one, Thomas County Central versus Gainesville. There's a lot that's still up in the air, but like I said, by the way, Roswell was beating Lanier tonight. I'm sure that they won. My bud Evan Reese should be in here somewhere. Lakeisha Esther, I guess our name leave a bad taste in his mouth, but how about my TCCHS? I don't know who you're talking about. It leaves a bad taste in whose mouth? Jody Hewitt, Buford is a great team. Have met their long snapper since my son is a long snapper at Lowndes. We have the conversations of how it plays out if we play each other again. I got you. I got you. I know a lot of the Buford guys, man. Luke Nelson. In fact, where is Luke Nelson tonight, a.k.a. Big Buford? Love those. I got a lot of Buford friends, man. They're great people. And, again, they get a bad rep. But you know what? That's what happens when you're winners. One game at a time. Definitely going to be a great playoff for Lowndes in Region 1-6A. It will be, for sure. Heather Knight Rodriguez says, yes, if Gainesville beats Roswell, that is. Larry Baker, not speaking for 2025, but talking about late playoff revenge at Joe Wilson Field in the Travis Hunter days at Collins Field. That didn't end too well. Yeah, boy, I tell you, that man, those are the days, weren't they? Unbelievable. And by the way, what has happened, talking about what has happened to certain teams. Irwin County, and I've talked about it on a couple of different previous shows. Guys, if you look at what Irwin County has done in the last 10 years, and forget the fact that they're a small school, I mean, they're competing for a state title almost every year. And, man, they went from way up here. But I knew when Casey Soliday left, anytime you see a long-time coach leave, and I keep saying this on these shows, that is a red flag. Watch out, because that could mean that they know the program's about to go down here. And listen, and again, everything goes in cycles. Nobody ever thought the Northside of Warner Robins would be bad. Nobody ever thought that Warner Robins would fall off. And I'm sure the Irwin County folks probably thought the same thing. So it's not anybody's fault. It's just, again, things cycle out. It's James Raymer, speaking of Warner Robins. Warner Robins beat New Hampstead 34-26 for their first region win. Dr. Sonia Wright Smith, where have you been? Gosh, we used to talk. You used to come on the show all the time. How are you doing? Great to hear from you. Made my night. Really did. Michael McNichol, we gave up 70 points. Yeah. Matthew Dunn, Irwin County chose our own coach. That's tough, man. That's tough. Larry Harold. Is he going to be back next year? Dr. Sonia Wright Smith, those Thomasville High Bulldogs bounced back tonight. They did. Losers of 2 in a row, but they bounced back in a big way tonight. Thomasville did. That's a good win. I'm a big believer, Dr. Sonia Wright Smith, that sometimes you lose a couple of games, and that's what you need to get back on track. That's what you need to remind yourself of just how good it was and how much you need to get back. I'm a big believer if you can afford a loss and it doesn't eliminate your season, it can be a good thing. You can learn from it. So take from that what you will, for sure. So, yeah, big win tonight, 45-0 over the Herons. What is that, Brantley County? Glad to be back on. I'm glad to have you back on. Listen, we do this every Friday night, 10 to midnight. We have a blast. I try to read everybody's comment. And then, we do the Monday night show from 5:30 to 7. So we have a big time. D. Smith, what's up, D? D. Smith, Bainbridge fan. We're on. No. D. Smith, are you a Northside fan? I'm sorry. We're on a 16-game losing streak. Big staff changes are coming. Now, D, are you Bainbridge or Northside? Help me out. I know you, and I apologize for the misunderstanding. I don't see either Bainbridge or Northside. Dr. Sonia Wright Smith says, yes, that's the truth. Absolutely. You get a couple of losses, nothing bad. And I think Thomasville is going to be, it's good to see, and I have always said this. If Thomasville, it's good to see Thomasville football back. And I mean that in the city of Thomasville. Not just one program, but both programs winning football. And I used to say that years ago. Thomasville has so much history. And again, I'm talking about the town. You've got the two major football teams there, Thomasville Bulldogs, Thomas County Central Yellow Jackets. And it's good to see both teams doing well. Of course, you got one school that is a smaller school. That's why I don't get really caught up in when they play each other. I mean, you got a Class A team and a Class 5 or 6A team. So I wouldn't get too lost in that. But they both have got a chance to do some great things this year. Matthew Dunn, Phil, last thing I'm going to say for the night. Number 6 linebacker for Worth, having 0 offers is criminal. Is that Chance Sims that you're talking about? I'll have to double check that. Because if it's Chance Sims you're talking about, you're 100% right. I don't know that that's him. Jody Hewitt, I'm a believer in a feeder program. A head coach has a broad job to reload a program. We're seeing it now. I actually just finished my 6 years as community coach at Hayhire Middle. These 3 Lowndes Middle schools with 9 teams as producing players. Now, Jody, I want to ask you about something. So I thought that there was a lull there in that Valdosta or that Lowndes feeder system when Coach DeBose left. Well, actually, when he was there, if you get my drift. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade. I like Coach Jamie DeBose. He did a good job. But I had heard that that's kind of that era when the Lowndes feeder system may have dipped a little bit. And that may have explained why things were a little tough when Adam Carter, first got there. Just asking. Michael McNichol, Hoko or TCC going to win region? I'm going with an upset if you can call it one. Hoko, boy, that is going to be some kind of game, guys. Are you kidding me? Houston County and Thomas County Central. Wow. All right, let me get back up here. Lakeisha Esther, I'm a big believer if a team is good, give them their credit. Yeah. Cameron Harris, yeah, it is Chance Sims. That's what I thought. Dr. Sonia Wright Smith, yes, it is. We are grateful, both schools. I have family on both teams. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be, It's good to have a friendly rival, but I just don't think that rivalry between those two schools makes a lot of sense. Like I said, you got one as a 1A school, you got one as a 5 or 6A, and so it just let them go and do their things and have 2 champions. And I think both have a really, really good chance to win it all. Man, that's why that Thomas County Central Hoko game, the only thing that worries me, I say worries me, I'm a little concerned how tough Coffee played Hoko tonight. I thought that game would be a little bit more of a dominant win, although I got the score just about on the money. But I know that Coffee was hanging in there and was challenging Hoko for much of that game. So I just think right now, based on what I saw tonight, and Jeremy Edwards is going to have he's going to have my lunch when I talk to him on Monday morning. I know he's going to say, "I heard what you said." But right now, I'd probably have to give Thomas County Central the credit or the advantage. But I may be wrong. And look, I've been saying this all year. I think Thomas County Central is I think they are one of the best teams in the state of Georgia. So it's going to be tough. But I think next week's game will tell the tale, and then we'll see how that comes out. And I really want to see Thomas County Central play Milton or Gainesville. Those are the games I want to see. They may play Hughes again. Yep. Go Dog says, Point U has offered Champ Sims. Okay, I did not know that. But you're right. He was our, I think he was our athlete of the month, if I'm not mistaken, last month. Heck of a player. Jody Hewitt. So talking about Evan Reese, what's up, buddy? For Roswell, 57 over nothing over Lanier. Evan, tell me who some of the big top performers. By the way, guys, I am looking. Please encourage your coaching staff to send me top performers. Right now, I have Gainesville sends me theirs, Mill Creek, Collins Hill, Richmond Hill, Thomasville. I get those teams send me their top performers, but I need I get them every week. But I need more to be consistent with their top performers. A lot of people will say, "Man, why don't you highlight this player as one of your top performers?" If I don't hear about him, I don't know. So anyway, but Jody says, absolutely, Phil. I was coaching them, talking about that lull that happened during the Jamie DeBose coaching era. Hold on, Jody. Let me get back up here. DeBose didn't care about the middle schools. We were told to just develop whether we win or not. Nothing was required as far as teaching a playbook or defense. And I heard that a lot. That's why I brought that up. And, man, that is haunting. It will do what it did to Lowndes. And, again, I think that's why Adam Carter was a little bit, he was at a little bit of a disadvantage. He was at a lot of a disadvantage when he got there. But now you're starting to see Adam able to build the program up in his way, his guys, his system, and it's starting to pay off. And that's good to see. James Raymer, in Region 3-5A, Newman has hands Lovejoy their first loss, 38-28. Noonan, I'm sorry. How about that? Cameron Harris, I feel like Worth versus Jeff Davis is going to be a good game next week, but will Worth pulling off the win. Yeah, I know Jeff Davis gave Thomasville a little bit of a scare, but man, listen. So I got to ask you guys. So we've gone to doing the top 25. We were doing top 10. I still do top 10 with the AJC. ITG Next, we are part of the statewide composite rankings with us, AJC, 680 The Fan Atlanta, Score Atlanta, Max Preps, and one other. So I still give them a top 10. But for our ITG Next forum, we are now doing an all classification top 25. And be honest with me. So I've got Worth, I think, ranked like 10th or 11th. And I've caught some flack for that. Listen, now I want you to think about something. And again, I'm not the kind of guy that dismisses schools just by how many A's they've got in front of their name. I don't care that Worth County is a single A or whatever it is. Worth County is a state championship caliber program. So if Worth County, let's say Worth County was to win a state title, wouldn't they definitely qualify to be a top 10 team in the ITG Next All Classification top 25? I think they deserve that. And that's why I've got them ranked as high as I do. They are a championship caliber program. But I have caught some flack for it. But again, I think a lot of people get caught up in well, you can't rank them that high. They're a small school. So I just don't look at it that way. But anyway. Again, be honest with me. If you agree with me, fine. If you don't, that's cool. Go Dog 60. Yes, he was. I thought he was. I thought he was our athlete of the month. Yeah. Man, you're right. And listen, this is what this transfer portal has done, though, guys. Do y'all want to know who I thought the very first player, and he to me is the poster child for what the transfer portal has done to recruiting, and that was Thomas County Central's quarterback. Gosh, what is the young man's name? Not now. I think it was when Rogers first got there. Sam. Come on, guys, help me out. Who am I talking about? That young man was so good, and that's when the portal was really starting to come on into college and affecting college football recruiting. And I remember he got left out in the cold, and I remember thinking, how is that possible? What was his name? Cameron Harris, yes, Chance was athlete of the month. Thank y'all. I got so many things going through my head. Brady Weaver for Worth County tonight was a heat-seeking missile on defense. Love it. So here's what I need. I need stats. Like if you can get me Brady Weaver's tackles for tonight. That's what I look for. Offense, defense, and special teams. I want to know if we got any kickers out there that had big field goals tonight. Let me know about that. Evan Reese, Trey Smith had a big night, 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Oh, he's in. He'll make it. Our defense had a bigger night. I'm looking to find the individual player stats, but a lot of fumble recoveries. Yeah, find that for me if you would. Wow, look at go Dogs. So Deerfield and Valwood play tonight. Deerfield beats Valwood. Those two teams played for the state championship last year, did they not? Deerfield beats Valwood 21-20 on a 4th down touchdown with under 3 minutes to go. Golly. Oh, what a game. Sean Brown, Hoko versus TC, game of the week next week, no doubt. That's the game of the year. Right now, if I had to pick that, gosh, I don't know. Evan Reese, unless you're a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver, it's just hard for me to keep up with everything going on for individual play. I get you, buddy. I get you. I'm with you. It is tough. Open Farley, where you at, man? You're back. Open Farley, the Jackets Nation is checking in. Well, you already checked in, but I'm glad you're still here. Gabe Garrett, you have Worth and Toombs from AD1 in the top 25. Yeah, I got them both. That's right. I forgot about Toombs. Look, they belong. I believe they belong. You know, I remember Toombs County going up to Rome and giving them fits. I think Worth County can play with just about anybody. But again, they're state champion material. And if they are state champions at the end of the year, they're definitely going to be a part of the top 25. See, that's the way I look at things. Let me see here. So Lakeisha Esther, I guess she's talking about me, says this man is so shady, he needs to wear shades every time he goes live. What have I done to you? But what's your problem if you're still watching? Like somebody's ill with me. Who cares? All right, let me see if I can get you. Sam Brown was his name. That's right. Sam Brown. Thank you, guys. Oh, I see where Lakeisha Esther is actually chiming in. What have I done to you, by the way? Whatever. You know, you ain't got to watch. You can just turn off. Real simple. Obadiah Farley. Let me get back to you, buddy. All right. Let me scroll down here. Michael McNichol. Maybe we can beat veterans for our senior night. I hope not, but looking like it. Yeah, I'm pulling for Steve Dvorsny and that crew at Veterans. Again, tough situation up there in Warner Robins, but I think they'll be all right. All right, let me scroll down here. Jody Hewitt, shout out to Mason Woods. He has eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark with his stellar performance at Camden last week. Fantastic. I love it. And listen, guys, if y'all can get me stats on players, I'd love to have them. Love to have them. But I need like stats, just, you know, touchdowns, rushing yards. Definitely, though, want to acknowledge these players. Obadiah Farley, I remember I got you again, brother. What's going on? Jacket Nation checking in. Obadiah Farley, Thomas County Central's #1 fan. I anointed him that years ago. And that never, Sam Brown is the guy's name for sure. That Sam Brown was the guy. He was the guy. And I remember I used to, talk about this. And did he ever land anywhere, by the way, guys? Did he ever find a college home? I mean, if anybody deserved to have a college home, it's him. But I remember he was the first guy that didn't get a chance, and he was kind of I remember I called him, he was like the poster child for everything that was wrong with college football recruiting. Because he got left out in the cold, and that was right when the transfer portal came on. But thank you for that answer. Obadiah Farley and Heather Knight Rodriguez for answering. Sam Brown, Jerry White Bradley, thank you. Michael McNichol, who won the Peach County game? I'm assuming Peach won. So who were they playing? Also, does anybody have a final on that? Anybody have a final on Troup County LaGrange? That was another one of my pick six games tonight. I had Troup County winning that game 27-14. Big rivalry. Those two teams, I think they shared the same stadium there in LaGrange. Obviously, LaGrange is the city there in Troup County. Troup County is the county team, kind of like the Thomas County Central thing. Peach County, who did Peach County play? Trying to answer your question there. Michael McNichol. Rosser Sutherland, what's up, buddy? Hello from Marietta, where we are on a bye. I attended North Paulding at Wheeler, where North Paulding won 43-21. All right, Rosser. I got to call you. I got to call you out here. Rosser, I think it was you who laughed at my McEachern Hillgrove prediction. Rosser, that was you, wasn't it? Rosser said that's pretty crazy to be picking that many points. Just saying, Rosser. I'm glad you're in the house, buddy. By the way, Rosser, how about your Marietta Blue Devils? What a great job Cam Duke has done since taking over Marietta this year. Obadiah Farley, if apparently you come out shady towards Summers County Central fans, whatever, you can't please everybody. That's just the way it is. All right, let's see here. Matthew Dunn, he's a lot better than Point U. Yeah, for sure. I don't even know where Point University is. But you're right. Chance Sims is a ball player. 100%. All right, trying to get caught up on some of your comments here, guys. Alan Clanton, what's up, buddy? Deerfield beat Bellwood. What a game. Yeah, just read somebody's update on that one. So Troup does win. Thanks, James Reamer. Troup wins 38-24. So I had predicted Troup County to win 27-24. Peach beat Bainbridge 42-7. Bob, there's another. Rosser says, "Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I wasn't gonna let you forget, buddy." But you know what? I see your point. But Hillgrove, I thought, way overrated. Hillgrove, for those of you that don't know, Hillgrove had been shutting out everybody, and but they ran into a powerhouse team tonight, McEachern. By the way, check out my story that I wrote where I list McEachern as one of the teams in 6A that I think can make a run at a state title this year. There's a number of teams. Lowndes is in there and several others. Okay, so Sam is at Valdosta State. That is good to know. I'm glad that he landed somewhere. Man, he was a great player, great quarterback at Thomas County Central. I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's when Rogers first got there, and he did a good job there. Joe Thornton, thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Glad to hear that he is at Valdosta State, and I wonder how much eligibility he's got left. And I just hope that he'll continue to grow. And I just somehow I had met, I think, him or his father, and great people, great folks, great folks. Joe Thornton says Jalen Johnson scored his 100 touchdown tonight, 78 passing, 22 rushing. Was that the 100-yard mark you mean? Or is that 100 touchdowns for his career? What do you mean there, buddy? Just trying to confirm. Cameron Harris, Chance came from Colquitt. Chance came from Colquitt County. Has been there anything else said about Jay Lamar? Does he keep his offer from Georgia? Okay, so what I've heard is that Jay Lamar is back with the team. And, of course, they were off this week. But that is the unofficial story, that he is back. And I don't know what the deal is with the University of Georgia. I do not have any information on that one. Stephen K. Wynn says McEachern has a young team. Yep. Yeah, you're right, they do. I was watching some of that game. Of course, I was talking, as you guys know, I talk to Kareem Reed every week on our McEachern Coaches Show. And here's the thing about McEachern. They've been winning all year without their best players. I mean, they've had like their top, I think 4 or 5 players have been out with injury. They got, I think is it Nayland Scott, the Nebraska commit? They got him back tonight. He had a pretty big game, but the point being that McEachern's been able to win so far without their best players, and now that they've got them back, you can only imagine that they're going to get better. Alan Clinton, has anyone have a score for Mitchell County and Miller? So I did hear a score on that earlier. It was, oh gosh, I didn't write it down, but I did hear, I think Miller was beating Mitchell, but I'm just guessing, brother. So let's see if we can help my man Alan Clanton out. Looking for a score on Miller County and Mitchell. Evan Reese, I agree with you on Hillgrove. They're not a bad team, but I did not see them being competitive with McEachern. Hillgrove just hasn't really played anybody besides Marietta. Rosser, how did they do against Marietta, by the way? I'm trying to remember what that score was. GoDog65 says, word I heard on Lamar and UGA was he sticks as long as there was no punches thrown or legal issues. Interesting. Let's hope that that he can come back and finish out his senior year. Pulling for him. Michael McNichol, if you do pay attention to softball, what is your opinion on Northside Warner Robins softball season this year? So I do a weekly softball and volleyball top 10. We alternate those every week at ITG Next. And now I don't think I've got Northside Warner Robins ranked. So to be honest with you, I don't know much about them. But I'll look into it. And I'll give you an answer. I appreciate you bringing them up to speed for me, buddy. Or bringing me up to tension on them. Good stuff, man. We got the best viewers, that follow us on the Monday night show and tonight's show. I love it. Oh, man. Edwin Williams. Where are all the Pierce County fans at? In case you guys are wondering, Pierce County got upset tonight by Crisp County. Big win for Justin Newman and the Crisp County Cougars. They are right back in it now in that region. That's a great win for them. Mitchell County 36, Miller County 25. Okay, so there I see. If you listen to me, I was wrong. So Rosser says Hillgrove beat Marietta 34-6 at Northcutt. Ouch. But Marietta's playing good. That's good. Go Dog 65. That is a final score. Appreciate that, buddy. So, guys, some big games coming up next week. I do want to know, does anybody have anything on Central Carrollton and Harris County tonight? I'll tell you, I like Central Carrollton. I have been big on J.R. Harris, their quarterback, since he was a true freshman starter. I think he is the real deal for the Lions, I believe they are. Looking for an update on Spalding, Mary Persons tonight. If anybody's got anything on that one. Anything on Brunswick? By the way, Brunswick, that was a bad loss to Statesboro last week, wasn't it? Brunswick and Lakeside Evans playing tonight. Rosser, hold on a second. Larry Baker, Phil, it took for your rankings to prove me wrong about my school a few times, and I haven't been mad at your rankings since because they always found a way to definitely prove you right. Well, you know what? Listen, I just try to tell it like it is, man. Just try to tell it like it is. But I appreciate that, Larry Baker. That is, look, man, I'm pretty humble. Despite what somebody said on here tonight. Claudia Noel Maine, what's up, Claudia? Wonder where you been? Lounge was off tonight. Okay, okie dokie. Next Friday you travel to Richmond Hill. That's a big game. Big game traveling over there. By the way, I remember, I think it was Adam Carter's first year, we did the Richmond Hill Lounge game from over at Richmond Hill, ITG Next Game of the Week. And Richmond Hill won that game. Won it pretty handedly. But, boy, it's been a while since then. Michael McNichol, we went 13-16. We started off 6-0 before losing our first game. But, yeah, if you could look into the season, I'd be curious to see how you think about our season. Okay. And, Michael, that's Northside Warner Robins, right? Central Carroll, thank you, Gabe Garrett. Central Carroll 49-7 tonight over Harris County. By the way, isn't the former Lowndes coach, Tommy Watson, he's the head coach at Harris County, isn't he, guys? James Raymer. Okay, thank you guys for giving me that update. Stephen K. Wynn. What's up, Stephen? Central Carrollton, 49-7 over Harris County. Got you, Michael. I'm going to write that down about Northside Warner Robins. I'm going to check them out. So, guys, taking a look at some games. Okay, wait a minute. So Rosser Sutherland. By the way, Rosser is a friend of mine. Big Marietta fan. He's Marietta's number one. Well, you know what? Rosser, it's you and Tayretta Mayretta, which I'm surprised I hadn't seen Tayretta Mayretta in here tonight. Where's he at? But Rosser, you probably get it, man. You're probably the Marietta number one fan. You always keep me updated. Marietta can clinch the region next week with a win at Cherokee. Rosser, is that the game they should win? And a North Paulding loss to Walton. North Paulding plays at Marietta on Halloween. Alan Clanton says, I don't think Chris beating Pierce is as big an upset. And I'm with you on that. Alan. I said that earlier. Agree with you 100%. Chris played Sumter, Lovett, Peach, Swainsboro, Appling, all tough, losing by no more than 7-8 points each of them. That's a great observation, Alan. And I was talking about that earlier, how they've been very competitive all year and just haven't been able to win, getting over the hump. But you're right. They got a pretty good quarterback, by the way, Chris County. He's a big, tall kid, lefty. I'm trying to remember his name. James Raymer, Brunswick bounced back, beating Lakeside Evans 60-6. Yeah, that's, again, remember what we were talking about with Dr. Sonia Wright-Smith earlier. Sometimes a loss will do you good. Just like it has Thomasville. They bounced back tonight. It looks like so did Brunswick. Statesboro beats Evans 43-20, so Statesboro is still in the driver's seat for a Region 1-5A title. And again, Statesboro defeated upset Brunswick last week, so that's what James is referring to there. Rosser Sutherland, Marietta should handle Cherokee. Okay, they're 1-8 and give up over 40 a game. Yikes. They lost to North Cobb tonight 52-25. Yeah, so I would think that your Marietta Blue Devils should be in good shape for sure. All right, just going to go over to the phone here and check out, see if I'm missing any comments. By the way, guys, if this is I know we had a couple of new viewers tonight. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. We do it every Friday night, 10 to midnight. And again, be sure to check out our show on Monday. Man, we're going to have a blast talking about, obviously, some of the games tonight and then looking ahead to next week. So I want to hear from you Thomas County Central fans. What do you think? Thomas County, and be honest with me, and I think right now Thomas County Central may have a little bit better team than Hoco. And I've been saying this all year. I think in 5A, Thomas County Central has really looked dominant. My gosh, they look like a college team. And it's going to be real interesting to see. I want to see Thomas County Central go up against Gainesville, Milton, Hughes. Of course, I know it was Hughes that put them out last year, but I just think that 5A bracket could get very interesting. I wouldn't count Roswell out of it. Roswell, Houston County, Thomas County Center. I mean, there's a lot of good teams. And I think the difference between 5A and 6A, I think 5A, you've got a lot of teams that could compete for the title. I think in 6A, and look, Lowndes is good. Valdosta is good. I'm telling you, Valdosta, I think, guys, year in and year out, I keep saying this, I think Valdosta got some of the best talent in the state. They just got to get over this hump where they're not going to Carrollton and getting beat by 40 points, because that's what's happened. Go Dogs wants to know, where would that TCC HOCO game be played? I think that is at Thomas County Central. Guys, am I right about that? I believe that's going to be, because didn't Thomas County Central go up to Warner Robins last year and beat HOCO up there? So I think it would be time to go to Thomas County Central tomorrow, next week. I believe that's right. I believe that is correct. But anyway, so talking about in Class 6A, and again, I've got a story up at our website about this where, and by the way, I do want to point something out. So, yesterday I wrote about 3 stories. I don't know, probably over 3,000 words, and I typed in Carrollton has not yet won a football championship, and what I meant. And I just didn't finish it. Carrollton's not yet won a football championship under Joey King. But I've gone in and corrected the story. But the reason I bring that up is not because of the mistake. But Carrollton is another one of those teams that keeps knocking on the door and just can't, they can't seem to close for whatever reason. Can't seem to close the deal. Valdosta can't seem to get out of the second round. And I think they've got more talent than that. I think Lowndes is going to have a good shot this year. But I'm asking all that. And, Jody, I'm finna get to your question here. And Stephen K. Wynn, come on now, you chime in on this because you know your football. So, and I wrote this in the story that I'm talking about Class 6A, where I talk about everybody that's got a chance to win the state title. And I did the same thing in 5A. But right now, it's going to be tough for somebody to beat, other than Grayson, it's going to be tough for somebody to beat Buford. It really is. Buford is playing really good football. I mean, and again, now it's, they play in a weak region. Now, they almost got beat, and almost, don't count except for horseshoes, but I go back to that opening game they had in their brand new stadium to start the season, Milton and Buford. That was a classic game. But can Buford be beat? Is this Carrollton's year? Can Lowndes get past Buford? Just asking, who do you think's got it? Who do you guys think has got it in Class 6A? Valdosta, I think, is right there. All right, so Jody wants to know, Phil, how are you feeling about regions being split, adding 7A back next season? Many in Region 1 7A. Does Tift and Valdosta go back down or just play up? That's a good question. So for those of you who don't know what Jody's talking about, next year they do away with the A split. There will just be one Class A. There will not be the Class A Division I and Division II, and I like that. They're just going to go back to Class A. So I think, Jody, I think all they're going to do is they're going to up everybody just one classification number. In other words, I think that one 6A will become 7A. So I don't think there's going to be any change. I may be wrong. I could be wrong. And then next year begins the new classification period, of course. But I think that's the way I see it right now. But I don't know. Jody? That's a good question. But like I said, I think as far as like what they're going to do, like 1A Division 1, I believe it is, 1A Division 1. I think that is the bigger one, is it not? 1A Division 1 will become 1A or 2A. 1A Division 2 will stay 1A. And then obviously it goes 2A becomes 3A, 3A becomes 4A, and so on. I think that's the way it's going to be. But I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. Allen Clinton, not Georgia high school football, but Hoover, Alabama just upset Thompson, Alabama on a field goal. Now, Allen, is that an upset? And again, I know you keep up with things a little bit more over there than I do, but Hoover, is that an upset of what they were able to do against Thompson tonight over there? And is that final? Claudia Noel Maine, Lowndes plays Valdosta on Halloween night. Yeah, that is going to be something else, isn't it? Say hi to my Valdosta High folks. It's well, you just did it, see. You just said hello to them. Michael McNichol, 7A is coming back. Yes, it is coming back next year. There will be a 1A will be just 1A. It's not going to be split. So a couple of you guys have responded about the college football game tonight. Roger Sutherland is the latest. College football tonight. Louisville over Miami, 24-21. Carson Beck with 4 interceptions. Oh, I love it. Couldn't have to a better guy. Guys, I got to tell you something. Jody says 1A Division 1 is going to 2A. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. This whole Carson Beck thing last year with the Lamborghini. And by the way, I got some insight on how that happened. Mike Bobo, I'm not going to tell you who told me this, sort of secret. Mike Bobo was at Collins Hill last year. And Mike Bobo told the story how Kirby went to Bobo and said, Carson Beck is our best chance at winning a national championship, and we're going to do everything we can to keep him here. Because remember, Carson Beck was thinking about going pro. So they go to Carson Beck and said, what's it going to take for you to stay at Georgia? And Carson Beck says, I want a Lamborghini. And that's a true story, guys. And I think he also got some money that went toward his father's construction. I don't know that. Oh, that's alleged. I don't know. But anyway, just a little insight. And that may be pretty, maybe a lot of people that are privy to that. But that's how Carson Beck got the Lamborghini. And again, he flaunted it on campus. But to me, he just really lost his drive when all that happened. I thought he was very overrated as a quarterback at Georgia. I just didn't like. I don't know him, but I was not sad to see him leave, to see him transfer. All right. So that was an upset. Hoover over Thompson. And again, I know I'm pretty familiar, obviously, with both those programs, but I just didn't know if is Hoover still the powerhouse that they have been. Of course, I know Thompson gave Grayson all they could handle 2 years in a row now. Joe Thornton, TCC's Jalen Johnson, scored his 100th touchdown tonight. He has 78 passing, 22 rushing. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? By the way, where is he committed to? Lyric Baker. I see Rush Probst is doing pretty good with Coosa Christian in Alabama at 7-2 overall, 6-0 in region play after celebrating his 300th career win back in September. Yep, he is doing good. I'm glad for it. Beck was distracted by his girlfriend last year who broke up with him after he went to Miami. Again, just another distraction. Apparently, a lot of the students at Georgia, obviously Lamborghini is going to stand out. And he got a lot of people just resented that. I mean, come on, you got college kids that are, that are eating, pork and beans and you know what I mean? They're making bologna sandwiches up in their dorm room. And, here's Carson Beck riding around in a Lamborghini. College kids did not like that. They're going to school on college loans, which I think is such a bad idea, by the way. I would never advise anybody to take out and go. I would never advise any of these kids to go into debt to go to college. I'm not talking about athletes. I'm just talking about college kids, period. Go to tech school. That's where you're going to learn a trade. You're not going to go into debt. And your job placement percentage is pretty good out of those schools. Anyway, it has nothing to really do with sports. But Jody Hewitt, what's the odds for Probst coming back to the GHSA football? Jody, I don't know if you remember, but I talked to Rush earlier this year, and I think I wrote a story on it. And Rush said he basically told me he's back. He said Rush is back, and he told me that he would not rule anything out. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure he was going to come back, Jody. But when I talked to him, he's caught his second wind. He's doing well. He's healthy. He's gotten a chance to coach again. And Jody, I'm telling you, what he's doing at Coosa Christian. Remember, they went to Pierce County and almost upset Pierce. I think what he's doing at Coosa Christian, that's going to just rejuvenate him. And you're going to see Rush. You're going to see him come back with a full head of steam. And you know what? Don't be surprised if somebody in Georgia offers him a job and a bunch of money, and he's going to take it. And by the way, all these comments about he's not eligible, yeah, he's been cleared. Guys, he was cleared a couple of years, 2-3 years ago. So there's nothing holding him back from Georgia. I keep hearing people say that, but that's just not true. Jody, I would give it better than 50-50, buddy. You're asking for odds. I love the old school Ford truck that Gunnar Stockton drives. Amen, Larrick. Amen. Old boy just probably got him a couple of shotguns in the back window. I don't know. You can't do that anymore, can you? Can you guys imagine? Can you guys imagine the kids nowadays riding to school with shotguns in the back window on the gun rack? They would be thrown under the jail. But kids used to do that. When I went to school, it wasn't a big deal. Good old boys that hunted. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I play ball. I like to play ball. I like to play basketball, play tennis. I still play a lot of tennis. I don't hunt. I don't hunt and fish. But anyway, I'm a rarity. But a lot of those good old boys would, come to school with the shotguns in the back window of their pickup truck. Can you imagine in this day and age, as soon as you drive on to a high school campus and you got a couple of shotguns in the back window, the cops would be throwing you under the bus. I don't know, it's just funny. But I do too, Larry Baker. That's what made me think about that. Gunnar Stockton, Raven County quarterback, driving a good old pickup truck, just a good old boy, as awkward as he can be in these press conferences. I love it. Michael McNichol was Fabrizio. I hope spelled his name right. Back tonight for Lee. That's a good question. He was supposed to be. I know I broke the story last week that he was back at school this week. By the way, ITG Next, we were the first to break that. And I'm assuming he was at the game. I'm assuming he's back, to be honest with you. Michael? And yes, you did. You nailed it. The Fabrizio. Jody Hewitt, I would think if he came back, it wouldn't be a small program. Probably to my Rush, yeah. I would think he'd be looking for a perennial powerhouse that is dropped off recently. I think that's a good call, Jody. I think you're absolutely right, buddy. I think you're 100% right. Stephen K. Wynn, Clay Chalkville, Central Phoenix, and Saraland are the top programs in Alabama. Gotcha. James Raymer, Wheeler County is 8-0 after a 35-7 win over Telfair. Probably been a long while since Wheeler County was undefeated this late in the season. Stephen K. Wynn says, yes, Coach Farigio was back on the sideline. And like I said, we were the first one to break that last week of his return. Just another feather in our cap. We try to stay on top of what's going on. Larry Thompson. What's up, Larry? I know Larry's proud of what's happening with the Roswell Hornets. Larry Thompson Jr. How about those Roswell Hornets? Buddy, I love what they're doing. I love what Coach Thompson is doing at Roswell. Loving our show every week. Love catching up with him. So, listen, I think Roswell's going to have a chance in 5A. They're playing well. Coach Thompson's got them playing really well. Good football. And by the way, Larry, I don't know if you heard about this or not. You probably did. I don't know if all of you guys did. Did you guys hear about Trey Smith, the quarterback at Roswell, what he did? Now, I'm not talking about tonight. I think he had 6 touchdowns tonight. He'll definitely make our top performers list for sure. But Trey Smith was, I'm pretty sure he was awarded the homecoming court king. But he went and gave his crown to a young man named Jake Jeffries. Special needs young man. He's a student there at Roswell. And I'm going to tell you, that was your feel-good. I think that was last week he did that. That was your feel-good moment. And again, that's above and beyond what Roswell is doing on the football field. But I just thought I would throw that out. And it's got national attention, by the way. You guys have probably heard it. But I love stories like that. Larry, great to see you in the house, man. Roswell's doing great. I know you don't miss a game, buddy. That's great. Jody Hewitt. Phil, any games next week in Region 168 that you see could divide the region anymore? Blowout win by Lowndes. Tiff plays a close game with Valdosta. Great question. Now, I was going to talk about that at some point, which is 11:34, so we might as well tackle it now. So all you guys that are still in the chat, man, y'all want to talk about little Region 168. J.E. Woods, I was just about to type this about him. Wonderful story. Thanks, J.E. Yeah, man, great story. If you guys haven't, there's a lot of people that have written up about it. But Jake, just Google Jake Jeffries and Roswell. I think it was at last week's halftime show, which I'm assuming was the homecoming game. What a great story. Evan Reese. I was at the game last week when he gave Jake his crown. The whole crowd went crazy. Yeah, there you go, Evan. Great story, man. That's what it's all about. Obadiah Farley sent you a message. Check it out after you get off live. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so Jody, let's talk about 168. So here's where all the teams are. And again, Region 168 was off this week. Lowndes is at 3-0. Lowndes right now is at the top of Region 168, all alone, 3-0. Then you've got Colquitt 2-1. Remember, Lowndes has beat Colquitt, so there's your tiebreaker. Colquitt's 2-1, Valdosta's 2-1, and Richmond Hill is 2-1. Tifton and Camden are 0-3. Now, next week, Lowndes goes to Richmond Hill. Lowndes is going to be the favorite. But guys, I'm a little worried. I don't think Lowndes needs to overlook Richmond Hill. Do not let that 41-0 loss that Richmond Hill suffered against Valdosta last week. Remember what we've been talking about tonight? All these teams that get the tar beat out of them, that's a wake-up call. That's what's going to happen with Mount Lozada and Richmond Hill. I'm not saying they're going to beat Lowndes, but you got to be careful. That is as much a trap game, Jody, as I have seen all year long, buddy. I'm telling you. And I know Adam Carter will have his team warned about that and ready. So Lowndes goes to Richmond Hill next week. Colquitt is hosting Camden. And again, guys, I know Camden's down. They're 0-3. I'm telling you, though, this region is crazy. I think Tift will play Valdosta close. I'm not sure they'll win, but I think it'll be closer than people expect. I think Tift, I've been a little surprised by Tift. I thought they were going to do a little bit better, but, again, Jeff Littleton's got him a heck of a job to do there at Tift to try to get them back, and he will. He's a great coach. So Jody, if Lowndes beats Richmond Hill, let's say Colquitt beats Camden, Valdosta wins. So if things go that way, then you'll have Lowndes at 4-0, Colquitt 3-1, Valdosta 3-1. That's if the favorite teams win. So let's see. So Lowndes would go to 4-0, Colquitt 3-1 with one game left. Obviously, Valdosta and Lowndes, Wintersville Classic, last game of the year, Halloween night. If Lowndes was to stumble, that game's going to be at Valdosta, I believe, right? If Lowndes was to stumble and lose that one, Lowndes goes to 4-1. Valdosta could finish 4-1 and win the region. Colquitt could finish 4-1. They likely will because they got Camden and Richmond Hill left. So Colquitt finishes 4-1. So what happens there? So if Colquitt, Lowndes, and Valdosta all finish at 4-1. So you've got Lowndes holding the tiebreaker over Colquitt, and Colquitt holding the tiebreaker over Valdosta. Wow, it becomes a mess. What's the other tiebreaker? Is it points? Is it points allowed against region teams? Is that right? Somebody help me out there. But Jody, I think that we could look, if Lowndes wins out, it's their region, but it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to the Wintersville Classic. But that's where this region is right now. And look, what if Richmond Hill pulls an upset? Just saying. Now, they got to pull up two upsets because they've got Lowndes and Colquitt. Richmond Hill has a tough task. Stephen K. Wynn says no 90 points games tonight. Points allowed in region. Okay, that's what I thought. Second tiebreaker. Head-to-head is first. And again, between three teams, you've got Colquitt losing to Lowndes. And depending on how Valdosta Lowndes turns out, that could be a tiebreaker, so it could be a mess. By the way, Stephen K. Wynn, these 90, Jody Hewitt says we have allowed 28 region points so far. Are you guys, would that put you on top to this point? But I want to go back to the 90 points thing. All these teams have been scoring these 90 points. Look, that's going to serve up some bad karma. I really believe that. Nothing good is going to come out of scoring 90 points against somebody. And listen, do I believe that you can control that as a coach? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. If not, we'd have. Listen, there's a lot of lopsided games all across the country in this state. But there's a reason you don't see many 90 points scored because coaches can control that. And some people will say, well, what are you going to do? You're going to tell your kids that, your third string kids not to play? Well, no. But there are ways to control it. You run down the play clock. You snap the ball with 1 second left. There's a way you can control it. I'm a firm believer in that. You don't have to score 90 points. There's a way you can avoid that. So I just think it's a bad omen, in my opinion, if you rack up a bunch of points on a team like that. It's my opinion. All right, guys, our Friday night scoreboard show. Man, we have a blast doing this. Absolutely love it. Talking sports with you guys. Again, in case you missed it, Ashley Henderson, big win tonight. Man, what a great job, Ashley Henderson, the former Thomas County Central and Valwood coach. What a great job he has done. He's resurrected a program that was all but done. Jasper County Hurricanes this team's got an identity problem, not just because they were a bad football team, but Ashley told me they couldn't decide whether to call themselves Jasper County or Monticello. So that, I mean, you don't even know what to call yourselves, and I'm not kidding. But you know what? Doesn't matter anymore. They beat Social Circle tonight, 35-7. I believe they go to 9-0, and they're still undefeated. And that was one of the worst programs in the state of Georgia when Ashley Henderson got there 4 years ago. And look at what he's done now. Way to go, Ashley. Good guys don't always finish last. I'm a big believer in karma. We're talking about karma again. Claudia Noel Maine. I think there's going to be a double whammy after this year's 2025 Wintersville football game. Could be. Certainly could be. Stephen K. Winfield, the story behind Creekside last week was that the offense didn't play a snap in the second half. What do you mean the offense didn't play a snap in the second half? They had to play. You mean the first string offense? And it was all defensive touchdowns. Patrick Tina Harper. Props back to the Packers. I love it. Not so fast. Sean Calhoun's doing a pretty good job there. Walter L. Johnson II. At last report, Irving County held a 37-0 lead over Pelham in the fourth quarter. Assuming the Bobcats hold on to win that game, they'll host a Mitchell County squad that's also unbeaten in Region 1-1A Division 2, playing in a showdown for the region title next week. I love it, Walter. Love it. Love stuff like that. All right, guys. Again, we are about 15 minutes left to go in the show. Now, these are the diehards that stay with me until midnight. The clock strikes midnight. This is only for the diehards. Don't y'all go to bed on me. Don't do that. Now, come on. I got to stay up. Stay up with me. I love it. Love what we're doing here on Friday nights, by the way. In case you missed it, we're going to have some fun this week. McEachern beats Hillgrove tonight. The team that nobody scores on. Again, I predicted McEachern was going to win that game 33-21. They win, 35-14. So, somebody said, McEachern's never going to score that many points on that defense. And again, I think Hillgrove, good team, but I watched the first. I watched that game earlier tonight, or at least the start of it, and you knew it was not going to be good. McEachern took the opening kickoff and just had a methodical drive all the way down the field, 80-yard drive, running it for the most part. And guys, Nayland Scott, the top receiver on their team, his first game back tonight. One of their top players. He's Nebraska bound. And this is the scary thing about this McEachern team. C.J. Pittman, the freshman quarterback, he's only going to get better. He was our leading, I think, top performer last week. But, go Dog 65. I'm still here. Way to hang in there with me, brother. Michael McNichol says, I'm exhausted, but staying up because it's really the only... You're the only show on. That's why I'm hanging around, Phil. I'll take it, brother. He says, I'm so busy Monday nights, I can't watch that show. I got you, buddy. That's okay. I'll take what I can get from y'all. Nathan Cox says, go Fitzgerald. What did Fitzgerald... So Fitzgerald won tonight, did they not? Who did Fitzgerald play tonight? Who did Fitzgerald play tonight? I knew I had that one. Who did Fitzgerald play tonight? Why do I not have that? Oh, they played Berrien. That's right. They beat Berrien County. I got you. Deshaun Suggs, Carver Columbus' number one fan, has made his way into the house. Hey, Phil, Carver Columbus was off tonight. Got you. But we got 7 more games before we win this 2A state championship. Listen, and I don't think there's any doubt about it, brother. I don't think there's any doubt. Now, back before the year, I said this was going to be the year of the repeat. The repeat champion. And what I meant by that was I thought Grayson had a really good shot at repeating. I thought Milton had a good shot at repeating. Now, I don't know because of their quarterback situation where that's at now. It's a very fluid deal. You know, they've gone through 3 different quarterbacks. They're still very good. 4A, North Oconee, I think they're going to repeat. 2A, I'm skipping over 3A because I can't even remember who 3A champion is. Somebody help me out. But 2A, Carver Columbus, absolutely. Nobody's going to touch Carver Columbus. They may be I think they can compete with anybody in the state of Georgia. Regardless, and I've been saying that all year long. So, Deshaun Suggs, I'm with you, brother. 7 more games, huh? And I think you got it. I don't think anybody's going to. There's not going to be any resistance, man. I believe you guys have got it. I really do. Deshaun, glad you're checking in the show, brother. Always like seeing you. Darius Kirksey, the bracketologist. This guy is the best bracketologist in the world. I'm telling you. I'd be lost without this guy. I wrote a couple of stories last night, and it was Darius that was helping me out. So I need to give credit where credit's due. Darius Kirksey, Big Langston checking in, is still undefeated. Oh, yeah. So, Darius, so I've been talking about this seriously. You know, and I wrote this story. So, class, both 6A and 5A, I mean, 5A is going to, I think it's got the best collection of teams with Hughes, with Thomas County Central, Milton, Gainesville, now Hoco on the scene. Man, it's going to be something else in 5A. I think 6A is also pretty good, although, I mean, right now it's just hard to imagine anybody beating Buford or Grayson. I could be wrong. But, Darius, what do you think about that? And again, you know your stuff either way. So, Phil, go back and see Evan Reese's comment on the Creekside game. Okay. Ty Bailey, go Canes. What's up, Ty? Brad King, Fitzgerald played Berry. That's right. I don't know why I forgot about that. So, Fitzgerald, big win over Berrien County. By the way, I really like what Jackson Dean is doing at Berrien County, though. Has really brought that program back. James Raymer. Jasper County is 8-0, but they have games remaining with Putnam and Lamar County. Woo! So Lamar County is also 8-0. How about that? Unbelievable. All right, winding down things here. We got about 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left to go in the show. Thanks so much, guys, for being a part. So we have some big-time games coming up next week. I mean, things are going to get very, very interesting. I think McEachern passed a big test tonight. They beat Hillgrove. GPB. By the way, guys, check out the coaches shows we do. They're going to be fun this week. So we're going to talk to Jeremy Edwards, Houston County. They outlast Coffee tonight. Game got a little bit tight, but it sounds like Houston County was able to pull away. So we're going to do the Houston County Coaches Show. We're going to do the McEachern Coaches Show. That's going to be fun, talking to Kareem Reed about McEachern surviving Hillgrove tonight in that staunch defense. Hillgrove had shut out like everybody this year. I think they had like 6 shutouts or something. Not tonight. We're going to do the Worth County Coaches Show. They win big tonight. Worth County, listen, let's face it. If you're a program like Worth County, you got your sights set on one thing. Now, Coach Hammonds can say whatever he wants. But Worth County, they've got that state title in focus, in the crosshairs. And, well, they should. By the way, I don't know how many of y'all know, Jeff Hammond was Rush Probst, like, right-hand man. He was the offensive mind with Rush. Jeff Hammond is an offensive genius. So, a little bit of background for you there. All right, Darius Kirksey says Hughes Milton, Gainesville, Lee County, Hoco, Roswell, Rome. Now, is it in that order? I mean, I know. Of course, you think Hughes is going to win, and they might. They probably will. Well, they're playing really good, and I admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about Hughes. They have proved me wrong. But Darius, I'm wondering, is that the order that you think? Hughes, followed by Milton, followed by Gainesville, followed by Lee County, Hoco, Roswell, and Rome. Okay, Michael McNichol. I went to the Hoco Coffee game, and even as an Eagle, it was great. How about that? Michael, you didn't tell me that. I didn't know that. Shalia Ann Thompson. Go Hornets. Absolutely. Big win for Coach Jonathan J.T. Thompson tonight in the Roswell Hornets. Darius Kirksey, TCC, of course. Sprayberry, Sequoia, 5A has a lot of moving and change. It really does. Really does. I'm not sure if Sprayberry and Sequoia, I like Sequoia a lot. But I think you hit it on the head with the other teams you mentioned. I got you. Never take a little order. Just saying all the names. I got you. I see that. The Hoco Coffee game was 28-21 at the start of the fourth. They outscored Coffee 17-0 in the fourth. Okay, I thought it was pretty close there in the fourth. But get back to the coaches shows. So Jeremy Edwards, that's going to be a lot of fun talking about. I'm going to talk to Kareem Reed, the McEachern coaches show with Jeff Hammond, the Worth County coaches show. Going to talk to Jeff Littleton at Tift County as they get ready to play Valdosta. Going to talk with Sean Calhoun, the Colquitt County coaches show. They come back to play, and Colquitt County going to have a big game hosting Camden County. Boy, that Region 1-6A, guys, that's about to get so interesting. Lowndes is 3-0. Colquitt 2-1. Valdosta 2-1. Richmond Hill 2-1. This week, upcoming week, we'll put some space in between these teams. Michael couldn't decide where to go. It was either Hoco or Warner Robinson. I hate everything about Warner Robinson. So I picked the lesser of the two evils. I hear you, buddy. I know how it is when you talk about rivals. But I'm interested to know, though, what was your take on Coffee? I thought they played that game. It sounded like they played it a little bit closer than I would have thought. That's good, though. That's good. Again, Coffee, young team. Coffee will be back in the mix. But and I remember talking to Mike Coe for the season. He said, "Hey, this we're going to be young. It's going to be a challenge, and it has been." But listen, here's the thing about it: you get in the playoffs. That's why I was telling somebody earlier today, guys. I can remember 2018. There was I don't think they. 2018, GHSA did something similar to what they're going to do next year, but they had the teams, at-large teams were able to make it to the playoffs. And the reason I remember that is, in case you didn't make it as one of the 4 region qualifiers, they had, you could make it by way of a power ranking as an at-large team, and Tift County made it as an at-large team. That's the only way they were going to get in the playoffs. Lo and behold, Tift County makes it. Nobody's giving them a chance. And they go to Roswell. Now, again, this was 2018. And they beat the Hornets 42-7. They went in. They played the quarterfinals and got beat by Archer, I believe it was, in overtime. My point in telling you that is that when you just get to the playoffs, just make the playoffs. Because if you don't make the playoffs, you have no chance to do anything. You make the playoffs, maybe you're going to be an underdog, maybe nobody's going to give you a shot, but you make the playoffs and anything can happen. That 2018 Tift really showed me that. That was a heck of a year. All right, let me get caught up on some of these comments here. Evan Reese, I was a junior when Tift came to Roswell. I most certainly was not sleeping on them. I got you. How about that?
So, Evan, but I can remember, and I went back and I read the article from the Roswell newspaper about that game, and that surprised some people, obviously. All right, guys, we're winding it down. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. You guys hanging with me. 3 minutes left to go in the show. Don't forget Monday night. You guys check in with me, man. We'll do a lot more previewing of a lot of the games that are going to be coming up next weekend. As you're going to have Region 1-6A is going to get back to action as everybody's coming off a bye week this week. And then you're going to have also Region 2-5A. I think everybody in 2-5A is in action next week. And I'm not really sure how many of the teams are left or any of the regions are left as far as bye weeks go. I think everybody pretty much should be done with their bye weeks. I think Region 7-5A, I know Roswell is going to have to finish with a bang. I think Roswell has got Gainesville and Milton left. Gainesville, the Roswell-Gainesville game, that'll be Gainesville's last game of the year. So there's some interesting football that's to be played, and we're going to cover it all on Monday's show. I hope you guys will be with me there. Michael McNichol, for a school that doesn't look as good as they did last year, they look decent tonight, talking about coffee. They played Hoco surprisingly well. I was expecting a blowout, and some say it was a blowout, but I expected worse. I hear you, buddy. Darius Kirksey, Lee, Hoco, and TCC Hoco. Man, I got my popcorn ready. No doubt about that, but that's going to be so much fun. No doubt about that. Jody Hewitt. Any team can win or lose any given Friday night. Brings back the 99 season. You're right. You're absolutely right. Darius Kirksey next week is fireworks. Evan Reese. Yeah, some of the players were confident they would beat Tift. Well, I mean, again, you were the number one seed in that region. Tift just barely made it by the hair of the chinny chin chin as an at-large team. But I think you go back and look at that 2018 season, and it really serves as a classic example of why, like this year, if the format, the postseason ranking format, was in place this year, all the Region 1-6A teams would be in the playoffs. That's what I love about that new formula. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out the show. We are going to depart. Exit stage left. Thanks so much for being with me tonight. Come back with me on Monday. In the meantime, check out my stories at ITG Next. You can check them out on our website. You can check them out in our newsletter on Facebook. Excuse me. I'm not done talking. My voice is about gone. But check them out, guys. Wrote a couple of interesting stories about particular possible playoff matchups in 6A and in 5A, and who is going to get a chance to hoist the 6A trophy. There's a number of teams I'll talk about in this story. Check it out, guys, at ITG Next Georgia. All right, until Monday, have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you Monday night, 5:30, right here at ITG Next. See ya.